Okay guys, welcome back. So we're here with Chris from Mizuno.
Yes.
Chris, talk to us a little bit T20.
Yeah, we're excited about this. It's been a couple of years since we've launched a T-Series wedge. We had been on this cadence of doing a T-Series and an S-Series, T-Series, S-Series, and we kind of changed things up a little bit last year and didn't do a new S-Series because we wanted to move the T-Series to launch with the MP product.
Right,
just speaking to the head shape and also some of the technologies that are shared between them. So with the new T20, you'll see a little bit of a tapered blade design that you see in the MP20 muscle back as well. That'll help raise the center of gravity on the higher lofted. And also we're developing some new spin technology too, which I'm sure you guys will do some nice testing on.
We're looking forward to getting into that.
We'll be testing, yeah.
Recent testing has opened a can of worms perhaps on that one, so we're excited to dive into that. Just briefly on that sort of higher CG, that's something that really matters in wedges especially, isn't it?
Yeah, especially, you know, on wedges are all about consistency and how's the ball going to come off the face, how far is it going to carry, how much is it going to grab when it hits the green, and by manipulating the center of gravity, we're able to get a more consistent performance out of that. You know, on wedges, you say your higher lofted wedges when you're around the green and you're chipping and you're in heavy rough, and you know, impact is going to vary a large amount in terms of how high or how low on the face. So by raising that center of gravity slightly, you're less likely to get that floater, that ball that just kind of pops out with nothing on it.
Right.
And you're also, by raising center of gravity, you're actually increasing the vertical moment of inertia as well. So again, making more consistent ball speeds and more consistent launch angles and spin rates off that ball.
Excellent. And we really enjoyed S18, didn't we?
I liked it a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
the shape of it especially.
It done really well for us in testing. And when we were talking about T20 earlier, you said something that I really enjoyed and kind of made a lot of sense to me, is that you guys aren't looking to make the highest spin wedge out there. You're not looking to be the most of anything.
Right.
You're looking for consistency, consistent performance in different sort of different conditions and, you know, strike points, that sort of thing.
I think that's a huge thing, and that was one of the biggest design goals of this club. Was, you're right, we're not trying to maximize one playing characteristic to sacrifice another. A wedge, more than any other club in the bag, is about consistency. So we talk about grooves. You know, people, when they think of wedges, they think about the sexiness of zipping back a wedge or something like that. But ultimately, if you deliver a groove that spins it a ton in dry conditions but struggles in wet conditions, then again, it's almost like you're having to learn two different shots with that club.
Right.
So we're all about maximizing the consistency. That's where the vertical moment of inertia increase helps that, but also what we're calling our hydroflow micro grooves, that paired with our CNC milled quad cut grooves are going to help you get more consistent playing characteristics out of dry, wet, everything. So while, you know, we'll be the first to admit in some of our testing, we aren't the absolute highest of spin off a full shot from the fairway. But what the difference that you'll see is, you know, you hit a dry shot versus a wet shot, you're going to see the most consistent results from our wedge versus anybody else.
That's so important, isn't it? You know, from a player's perspective, no surprises, making sure you're standing up there, you hit a shot, and you kind of know what to expect.
Right.
That guessing game's not much fun.
No, it's not. And you see it on the tour all the time. We were talking about this a few minutes ago. When someone hits a shot and all of a sudden it does something unexpected,
That's right.
You can't play for that. So we're trying to deliver consistency, and that's what was the name of the game with the T20. So
3 finishes. We have the raw.
Right, that's
which
right.
I think will be a big hit.
So we're excited about that. You know, we've had a satin chrome, and which we're going to do that again. We're going to do a blue ion, which is a nice kind of sexy alternative to something traditional. And then we've had raw, but it's been tour only. It's been something that we haven't allowed the consumer to get their hands on. So starting with the T20, we're gonna have the raw finish. It's going to be in the higher lofted wedges.
Okay.
You know, where it makes more sense, where you're really trying to get a lot of spin and you want that raw finish. So it is going to rust out, but yeah, it's 3 different options available, so it gives tons of different loft and bounce variations with 3 different finishes, tons of fitting capabilities between those.
Love that. So let's talk a little bit about sole design and options. What do we have in the soles in T20?
So when you look at the sole designs, you'll see 3, I guess we'd call it 3 groupings of sole grinds. On the gap wedge and the pitching wedge, the 45 up to 50, 3 degree, then you're going to have what's essentially just a back edge bevel.
Right.
So it's still more of a full sole design, but a little bit of relief across the trailing edge. It is more of a full shot club. Still got plenty of camber on the sole, so it's going to enter and exit cleanly when you take a full swipe with it, but not designed so much to be opened up and hit all, sort of number of different shots with.
You're not looking for that same level of versatility as the face opens.
Exactly.
That you are in the higher lofted class.
That's right. So, but then when you get to the 54 degree up to the 62 degree, you're going to see 2 other different bounce and grind options.
Right.
We have a high bounce and a low bounce in every loft from 54 to 62, and each of those is going to feature a different grind.
Right.
So on the high bounce options, because that player is wanting a little bit more sole, a little bit more bounce help, it's a less aggressive grind, but kind of a subtle grind across the trailing edge as well as the toe and heel.
Right.
Then when you get into the low bounce options, it's a more aggressive grind. So even more relief out of the heel, more relief out of the toe. Called an M grind or a C grind.
Sure.
I know everyone calls it, they're a little bit different, but it's more aggressive on the low bounce and a little bit less aggressive on the high bounce.
Okay, very, very cool. Sort of early testing with the players, what have you guys been finding with the tour guys?
It's been really good. So the S series was really great for us, but it's a head shape that the tour guys didn't adapt to as quickly as the T series.
So was it the size?
It's a little bit the size.
Okay.
You're right. The S series tends to be a slightly taller wedge and a little bit higher in the heel. So with this one, we wanted to make it very straight lined. So it almost looks like a continuation of the pitching wedge on. So that's kind of been the trend on the tour, and that's why the T series actually almost got a second life out on tour when we started introducing the raw T series on the T7 before, and that's where this one has jumped right in where that left off. So
Very cool.
we've seen very quick adoption to this wedge.
Very cool. Matty, what do you think, of the lines and...
It's funny you just said, I was about to say it looks kind of like a good extension of MP20s, because you guys brought the pitching wedge. It really does look like it kind of just blends in from there.
Seamlessly transitions.
And it's not only the head shape, but it's also that tapered blade design. If you take a T20 and an MP20 pitching wedge next to each other, it looks like almost the same club with a slightly different logo. Yeah, they're designed to really flow with the entire set.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. What is when you set the head shape down, like the S18s were the same way, what do you call that kind of rounded end? Is that sort of like a teardrop shape you guys call that?
So the T stands for teardrop. That's right.
Okay.
We had T and R for a long time, R being more round, and the round was a little bit, more radius across the top line, more radius along the leading edge. Then we went to the S series, which is kind of a blend between a T and an R. But so essentially the S was more rounded off, a little bit scoopier leading edge.
Gotcha.
So this one's a lot more straight line, and that's what the teardrop is.
Oh, it looks really, really good. I like that a lot.
Let's
hit a couple of these.
You, Maestro.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does.
50?
50. What bounce
Excellent.
have you got in that one? 7?
7.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds really good,
Really
doesn't
good,
it?
yeah.
Does it feel really soft?
It really does. Yeah, it's nice. It's different. In forged wedges are pretty rare for most companies. It's only
It really is, and that's again, we talk about consistency and wanting feel and feedback, and it feels like the wedge is the natural place where you'd want that. So it's amazing how many players play forged irons and insist forged irons, and then just assume their wedges are forged.
That's a good point, yeah.
But so we always push, if you want that feel and consistency, you definitely want it on your wedge. So these are our Grain Flow Forge HD.
Yeah, no, this is
all good
looking
ones.
and
That
sounding
might be the one.
fantastic.
Oh.
You've got it surrounded. Okay, let's go down to you got 54.
There's a 54 here, yeah.
Yeah.
What bounce have you got in that one?
8-degree bounce.
Okay. So that's the lower bounce of the 54 option.
Right, so it goes up to 12 or so?
I believe that's right, yeah.
Yeah, the higher bounces start to appear a little more around the 56.
That's right.
There's the sort of 14s. and
Yep,
that
so
sort of thing.
starting on the 54, you're able to get 2 different bounces, a high and a low.
Very cool.
Because that feels really good through the turf, that 50.
Mhm.
I think mine would have 10 degrees of bounce. Ian, is that right?
Yours does, yeah. It's the Titleist S grind. Yeah,
I feel a little bit like that got, kind of like the irons, it kind of felt like that got through the turf a little bit easier.
Excellent.
That was a bit thin. That was better. Should be more like the full yardage.
Good.
12 or so.
I mean, you are never one that lacks in the spin department at all.
You
but
can see that.
Yes, there's tons on this.
The good thing is it was a consistent spin on the thin
Both,
strike and the normal. Very similar.
Yeah, they're
numbers.
almost the same, weren't
Almost
they?
exactly the same, wasn't it?
It's pretty good too.
Similar to the last one, Matty.
Yep. That's nice. They're all kind of 30-degree launch, 11,000 kind of thing.
Okay, and let's slip you into the 58.
All right.
Beautiful.
Dialed in.
Yeah, it's really, really nice, really precise in the flight, and just everything about this is really, really good. Matthew, who do you think would be sort of the player you would sort of see looking down and the feel and stuff? Is this towards the lower handicap bracket? A little bit on the.
I don't see any reason why a lower handicap bracket wouldn't prefer this, but that being said, I don't think you could not play it if you're a higher handicap player. I think if you chose the right bounce and you were fitted right, that last strike wasn't perfect, but it flew the exact right distance. I'm sure they're forgiving enough.
They are.
If you were like a really high handicap, maybe you'd want a more substantial wedge, but I have a feeling that anyone from 0 to maybe 15, 18 handicap would have no issue with it. And they feel really good. They're a little more compact maybe than some wedges, but it's not enough that I don't think it would put anyone off.
And when you look at how the head shape flows from you've hit the 50, 54, and 58, typically as the loft increases, the head size is going to increase a bit more as well, just because you're more likely to hit it with so many different face angles. You don't want to have when you open it up that it's really thin on this angle. So you can see actually the face height grows slightly. You see that, so you're right, that 58 is not nearly as small and intimidating as if you were to even look at like the 46 degree.
Right.
Which is funny because you think about. You'd think that as the loft got weaker, it'd be easier to hit, but we actually put the most demanding, and probably the scariest one to look at is the pitching wedge. It's the smallest head and the strongest lofted, but the guy who's going to opt for a non-set matching pitching wedge is probably a pretty good player.
They're looking for that smaller head anyway. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, very true.
Yep.
Okay. See a couple more.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to taking this outside when our sort of fitting parts come and do some testing on the turf. And we done some. When were we done at Magna? We done the testing on different lies and stuff around the green,
bounce angles and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was the one where you found you really enjoyed S18 on that test.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes when we get into that sort of thing.
Yeah, this would be great to hit outside.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent. Just a little note on even just the kind of stock parts that come in that Tour Issue S400s come in those.
That's right. We put the Tour Issue S400 and we put the Z-Grip cord in there as well. So it's
nice.
It's a very kind of high-end finished part. By all means get fit by it because that S400 might knock some spin off for some players, but we wanted to deliver the most premium product we could out there. Right. So when you see it on the shelf, there's a lot of pop to it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's nice there, isn't it? I like those details not being sort of missed and really catering towards that player, the player who's looking for that type of head.
Agree. Yeah, it's really
good.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, Chris, we can't thank you enough, bud.
Always a pleasure.
Always great
Thank
to have
you.
you up here.
Thank you.
Never long enough.
That's right.
We enjoy it. Okay, guys, lots more to come. Obviously, our fitting parts are, as we say, are arriving all the time. We're going to dive more into these sorts of tests and compare them to sort of others, get it outside. I know you guys always like to see when we do that, especially with wedges and the bunkers and things like that. So lots more testing to come, lots more reviews to come, and we'll see you again soon.